Hey there, it's Ann, and welcome to our great Summer Camp Retention Challenge. You know, because we are in Camps Rock, we sort of have this unique vantage point of the summer camp industry because as someone who manages and maintains all the information in our database, I happen to know a lot about a lot of different camps in a lot of different cities, and I'm also connected to a lot of different camp directors all over, and so I have sort of this unique sort of ability to look at a bigger picture, kind of a 1,000-foot view of the summer camp industry. And I can tell you some things. So I can tell you that there are camps out there who can fill their registrations with ease. By midsummer, they're doing great. They may even be on a waiting list by mid-spring. They may even close their registrations because they're completely full. On the other hand, I do also know that there are camps that I've been in contact with and talked with them that have ultimately ended up having to cancel a camp, or those that run their camp but they know that they're going to run with a loss. And that's sad to me because really when I look at the big picture of this, I see absolutely no reason why one camp can't be just as successful as another. That you may look down the street at a camp that's just down the street, they're in the same market as you, and gee, why are they so successful? I believe that every single camp could be just as successful as any other camp in their market. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video challenge, the Great Summer Camp Retention Challenge. We're going to talk about how you can increase your retention numbers and therefore increase your registration numbers next spring, and basically just head into the spring with a lot of confidence that you're going to be successful. So that's what we're going to be working on. So we're going to look in detail at retention and the different things that will happen when you nail retention. The fact that you will actually get increased registration of new kids just because you retained the families that you've had in the past. That we're going to turn families that are existing customers of yours and turn them into raving fans. I know from doing a customer survey that 61% of parents actually find out camp information about the summer camps that their kids go to by talking with other parents. So we know that you not only need to be retaining the families, but you need to be in the conversations that are happening between families and other families that you don't know yet. So the whole idea of retention, getting the word out there, staying in touch with families and turning them into raving fans where they're talking about you with their friends. So we're really excited to get started with this video series again, the Great Summer Camp Retention Challenge. You're going to get a video about every other day. It's 4 videos total, and each one will have an assignment that you can very easily do that's quick and easy. And by the end of the week, you will have a plan for your winter. You will have a list of things that you're going to perhaps try to do this winter, but more importantly, by the end of this challenge, you will actually have done one retention activity, something quick and easy just to get things kicked off and started for the winter, that you can feel like you've made your first approach at reaching out to families this year. And most of what we're going to be doing is either free or virtually free, so that's awesome too in terms of marketing, that we're not spending a lot of marketing dollars on this. We're just doing some things to stay in touch with families. And if you are already having great success with your registration numbers, if you already feel like this is, I'm nailing retention already, I still think that we're going to have some interesting ideas for you, some new ways to think about retention, and maybe some fun things that you can do through the winter that will keep you excited and motivated about retention. All right, we're going to start off with a fundamental shift in the way we think about the customers that we lose. So the difference between retention and attrition. Attrition is the actual number of people who do not return, and it is something that you cannot calculate until really the end of the season, the end of your registration period. And the only thing we can hope to do with attrition is to push it down or to keep it low. But we can't actually calculate it or even monitor it as your registration period goes along, because there's really nothing to monitor it against until you get to the the closing date of your registration period. On the other hand, when we talk about retention, now you're talking about specific information that you can track and monitor through the entire registration time frame, and literally track that with the names of the kids. So that's really exciting. You can maybe put together a thermometer type of thing where you can keep track of each kid. You can certainly have a list of all of the kids that came last year and be checking them off as they sign up. And your staff can be getting excited about the retention numbers. Again, now your goal, instead of pushing down your attrition, your goal is to increase your retention, which is something you actually have control over. And again, that's not possible with attrition. You cannot know what your attrition rate is until you get to the end of the season, and you can calculate it with the numbers after the fact. So start thinking of this in terms of retention, which is a happier number. Now, because of the nature of this industry, there is a portion of your lost customers that is truly attrition. Attrition being something that you can't do anything about. So that is specifically your kids that age out of your program. Every year you will have a certain number of kids who just basically are not eligible to come back again next year. So we're not going to include that number in the number we're going to calculate our percent retention on. So let's say, for example, you have 100 kids and you know that you offer a camp for one, say, 10-year range, and one set of those kids is going to age out. So let's say now, instead of having 100 kids eligible, 90 of them are eligible to return. So we're going to instead calculate your retention rates based on the 90 instead of based on the 100. So we're going to just subtract those attrition numbers right off the top. So your first assignment for purposes of this retention challenge is to go and calculate your numbers for a year ago and your numbers from this past year. So you want to compare all of the kids that attended your camp a year ago compared to those that attended this year. You're also going to calculate what was your natural attrition rate a year ago, and what you can right now today calculate your natural attrition rate that will happen next year. So in other words, right now today, you know how many kids are going to age out of your program. So you can already reduce or subtract those out of your total number. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is go back and get the names of every single kid who attended your camp a year ago. And I mean, doesn't matter how many camps they came to, doesn't matter if they came to a variety of different kinds or they came multiple times to the same camp. If there are siblings, you're going to count each of those individually. So if you like Excel, this is a great Excel is a great way to record all of this information, the names of these kids and their age. And if you're not familiar with Excel, and you'll find that both Bill and I use it a lot, so he's put together a little video to show you exactly how to put this information in there and how to use Excel to calculate your retention rates. And so if you're interested in that, it's a separate video that's optional, but you can go on the website and find that. On the other hand, maybe you have some other method that you can record this kind of information. Maybe you have some back office software or something that you can use for this purpose. So that's it. You want to get your names for a year ago and this past summer, and the ages or grades of those kids. Then we're going to calculate what was the attrition rate in terms of the number of kids who aged out a year ago. And then based on that, your actual retention rate from this past summer. And then you want to set a goal for this coming summer. So make sure your goal goes up. So we went from, maybe last year you had 80% retention. Let's say your goal this year is 90% retention. Again, now you have a specific number that you're reaching for, and you know what your goal is. The next big question is, how do you ensure the retention that you're looking for? So that's what we're going to do in the next video, is actually come up with a variety of different ideas of things that you can implement that make sense for your program, that makes sense for your budget and the amount of time that you have, but definitely a variety of things that you can do through the winter months so that when we get to the spring, you've got raving fans, parents who are already ready to sign up for your program, parents who are talking with other parents about your program, and all that good stuff. So that is what we're going to be doing in our next video. Bill and I are going to be sharing with you our big, huge list of retention ideas for you. You're going to be, we're going to teach you a method that you can brainstorm and put together your own list, and ultimately, again, come up with a plan of attack and be ready for some registration success, because you've got your retention nailed, and you know that the spring will be awesome because of higher retention and higher registration. So before we go today, we would love to hear from you. If you want to send us a little email and tell us what you thought of this video, or if you want to, definitely join our free Facebook group that is for summer camp directors, and that would be in emails that we've sent you, and it's also on our website. You can click through and join that Facebook group. And also, if you liked this video, we'd love for you to share it with friends that you know who are summer camp directors that might also find this interesting information. So that's it. In next video, we will be talking about exactly what kinds of things you could be doing to increase your retention next year. Okay? Can't wait to see you in the next video.